Yanyante Chua, and maybe I'm discovered for Europe, I come a bushing for Ghana. No, me used to Taptap Send, Taptap Send. No fee mobile money transfer. Easy, convenient, fast, and sounds so free. Won't you share? Me discover ye map him. Tap Send. Intienne. Also download the Taptap Send app. No, mobile phone so free. Let us see how come we bushing for Ghana for na. Taptap Send. Papa no. Me did the Yanyante Chua, and maybe
Hello, everyone, and good evening. Akos, can you hear me? Excellent. So, apologies, we had a few technical issues there, but good evening, everyone, and welcome to the OT Health Talk Show. My name is Lady Abena, and together with my host,
Dr. Kos,
we form the Oasis, and shortly I'll let Dr. Akos introduce the speaker, but just before we do that, we're just going to go through some housekeeping rules as we usually do. So as you know, we will have the guest speaker talk to us about our topic, which today is exploring the inner and outer vitality. And yeah, inner and outer vitality. What's it called? So the topic is exploring the balance of inner and outer vitality. So that is the topic that we'll be speaking about. And there'll be a Q&A session right after that where you can ask your questions. Once again, the show is brought to you by Taptap Send. So do like, share, and spread the gospel. Okay, without further ado, Dr. Akos.
Yeah, so I'm going to invite Salange, but actually I'll let her, because I was going to say her full name, maybe say a little bit about her, but I'm scared I might butcher her full name, so I'll get her to say it herself. So yeah, hi Salange. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Obviously, thank you for honoring my invite. Just tell us who you are, a little bit about yourself, your background, and why you chose your topic, because I was very interested to see it today.
Okay, hi and welcome, and sorry, no welcome for having me. And my name is Salange. I know Akos from uni times, so that's I think 4 or 5 years ago.
No, honey, about 10 years ago.
More than that, yeah.
This is from my first degree, so that was like 2000 and I graduated from that in 2015. So I graduated in 10 years ago. So I started, that would have been in 2012.
Wow.
So that's when I knew, yeah. Wow. It doesn't seem like that long ago, but yeah, I was thinking about
not at all. So yeah, my name is Salange. Yes, we met at uni. It was through Christian Union, actually. So my background is... So my full name is Salange Tshidibu. My background is nursing, so I'm a general nurse. I think it's been now 15 years that I've been working in the nursing department, and then after that, where I met Akos at uni, I actually pursued my studies in pharmaceutical science and drug delivery systems. So I wanted to kind of move a bit away from the just nursing department, and I was really interested in research, which led me to go in that department and then just explore a little bit and then just see, because my aim was to see the combination of both, that you can combine both, be it a healthcare department or nursing, as well as research. And then, so when Akos obviously reached out to me via LinkedIn and, talked to me about, what she was doing. And so I was looking at different topics, and what I was drawn actually, and why I chose that particular topic is, I believe, for my personal point of view is also personal experience that I have had in that department or in that area, the topic, and then as well as looking in my job, my background, as well as in the research where I am right now, different things that I have discovered and seen, which I believe looking as well in our community, that it will be something important to talk about.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it sounds very exciting. So I can't wait to delve into it. Yeah, with your background in nursing and pharmaceutical sciences, I'm sure this shall be an interesting topic. So yeah, I mean, when you're ready, just go for it. Tell us what. So the way it usually runs is we do so you do the talk, and then we have a little break, and then we'll come back and do question and answers as well. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, go for it. Are you wanting to share a screen or something?
Yes, actually, yes. I hope it
I don't think
works.
host can. But are you host? No, I don't know.
I am a co-host. Let me see if I can help. Oh, she is too. She should be able to share.
Okay,
Yeah.
go for it. Yeah, share your screen.
We'll try.
In the meantime, I'd like to say, I went somewhere when was it? Was it Sunday? And I met one of our OT Media listeners to here. I don't think she's here right now, but I met somebody from OT Media, and they were like, "Oh, are you Dr. Coast?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they were like, "From OT Media." I was like, "Yeah, I am." And and it was just really lovely that she was able to recognize me. And these days we've been getting really nice compliments as well. And she was like, "I love the show. I love the information. I love what you guys are doing." So she said to regards to everybody, and it was just really nice. I thought, that's like 3 weeks in a row that we've actually had some pretty good feedback.
Oh
So
yeah, amazing. Well done, doctors. Well done, Dr. Akuz.
It's not working. I think it's telling me that it doesn't support it. I can also do it without. I had a PowerPoint presentation, but it's fine.
Oh yeah, because I can share my screen. So I don't know. You can, if you like, you can send it to me, and I can see if I can share it. But
Okay. Let's do that then.
yeah. So I'm just looking at everybody here, and I'm like, thank you all for being faithful watchers and listeners. I can see some familiar faces. Obviously, we've got Cecilia, Letty, we've got Sister. I can see you through your picture, even though you say Zoom user. We've got John, Mom K. We've got, I think Dr. K is here as well. Dr. Kujo is here, isn't he?
He absolutely is. Yes, we've betrayed him.
I'm happy for you to take over. As you can see, I'm not feeling very well. Yeah, but no, we thank you all, and again, we've got OT Media here, so we thank you so much, OT Media, for giving us this platform to be able to do this. Yeah. So wait, hold on, where's she sending it? Where are you sending it, Solange?
I wanted to share it here or to send it here.
Okay.
If you want, I can send it on WhatsApp as well, if that helps.
If not, I mean, I think time's well. Did you say you can do it without the presentation?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, maybe let's go with it. 'Cause, yeah, is that okay?
That's absolutely fine. It was just for visual purposes.
Yeah, I'm sure it helps sometimes, but yeah, I'm just looking at the time and I'm thinking,
No problem.
if that's okay. Yeah. All right.
No problem. Just give me a second. So yes, so as I said, my topic was to talk about the balance, obviously, of like the importance, like exploring the balance of inner and outer vitality. And as I said, one of the reasons why I chose that particular topic is because I believe it is an area that I believe we all, in one way or the other, need it. And based on some of the research that I was able to look into, as well as on my personal experience, I was able to see that it's an area that is very much needed, and that a lot of people, I believe, would be able to benefit as well from that so far. So, sorry, Akos, give me 1 second. So yeah, the first aspect that I want to look into is to describe, first of all, that word vitality. So as you guys can see from the topic on, it was saying exploring the balance of inner and outer vitality. So just to look into that word, what it actually means. And then, when you do certain, or you talk about certain topics, I believe it is good to bring in definitions as well and understanding, so that people do know what exactly is been talked about in this. So when you look in the word of vitality, so what it means, it comes from a Latin word, the origin of it, and that first word, vital, it means life. So it is, again, related to important things that we need in life. So vitality, that word comes from the Latin, like I was saying, and it means life. And then the other part of it, when you put that together, you can also say life force, or something that pertains to life. And that's why, when I was thinking even about how to put in the topic together, of looking at that aspect of vitality, just to explain again what that actually means in general. So it is something that we all need in life. And then now I'll go into just looking into the overall well-being. So the well-being that you can describe, or that I'm going to talk about in here, will be the well-being that is the inner as well as the external one, so meaning the outer part. So I'm going to go into and explain a little bit more about it for us to have a bit of an understanding about that. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize my camera was off. So when we look now into the aspect of inner and outer health, and you try to describe it and to see what it incorporates, or what different things are included in the inner and outer well-being. I'm just gonna go into it and then just put it in such a way for everyone to have a picture of it, to understand. And give me a second. So yeah, when we talk about it, it involves, so when we look at the inner health or inner well-being, I would say, when you look in that part, you can see it is divided in different parts. So for example, the inner one is divided in the mental health, the emotional well-being, which incorporates as well the psychological well-being, the spiritual, especially as well as social well-being. Why is it? Again, it is some parts and areas that when you look into the aspect that majority of people are dealing with, these are areas that we can see imbalances usually in our lives. We can see imbalances in people's life, which affects other areas and other parts as well, in their general health, or in overall in their well-being. So when you look, for example, into the mental state, it is or the emotional well-being. So majority of the time, when that area is not tackled with appropriately, you see that usually people have, issues which affects not only in their inner well-being, but it also it has an impact as well on their outer side. So that's why you can say, in other words, that both of them work hand in hand. So you need one or you need the other to sustain the other part, if that makes sense. So I was now looking into some statistics into it, when it comes to that particular topic, and how those different areas, be it your inner health or your overall or outer health in general, impacts or affects it. And based on some statistics, and because we're here in the UK, it will be good as well to look and, data which affects people in here in general. So on that graph, it did show, that it was showing a correlation that people had. So let's say when that well-being was not fully maintained, or there was an imbalance in it, or it was not stable, that they saw that there was a correlation in people, for example, obtaining certain diseases, for example, or obtaining certain conditions. And then they made in that particular survey or that statistics that there was obviously different ethnicity groups. So let's say people from a specific group or country, and how when that well-being is, imbalanced. So some of the areas that it can affect, and how those datas, that were collected in here or analyzed in here were affecting it. So in that graph showed, for example, that there were patients or people which were affected for specific diseases, for example, like respiratory diseases, other infections or communicable diseases, invasive infections. And so on that graph, the people or the ethnicity group, if I can put it that way, that is the highest affected was Black and other communities. So meaning, and then obviously based on the different ethnicity group, like I was saying, where it was again categorized with the different types of diseases or infections that were discovered in there. So it showed that on that particular graph that Black and others in that particular graph were having the highest, or it showed amongst the highest affected ethnicity groups with respiratory infections. Someone in that list was the respiratory infections were among the most common infections or diseases that were discovered on them. And these were patients that were admitted, for example, in the hospital. And it was quite interesting for me to see that obviously it has different impacts as well, where there is an imbalance, which we will go into it as well. In your well-being, be it your inner or your outer well-being, it has obviously different sources or different impacts. But one of those impacts was for me very interesting to see that there was a high majority number, and which stood quite out in that particular graph, to see that when it comes to certain hospital admissions, and specifically on that area of maybe respiratory diseases, that a majority or high amount of Black community was affected by this. So it was quite interesting to see. This showed that these people were admitted to the hospital, and which again showed to me, or brought that aspect that it is quite important for us to talk about that particular topic. And then you can also say, in terms of that inner health or outer well-being, it is it incorporates, or it is something that you can tell or say it's fundamental, multidimensional, or crucial. Fundamental, why? Because it incorporates very fundamental basics, that we need in our human body, that we need in our system, that we need in general to function the way we ought to function. And multidimensional, meaning that it affects different areas. So there are different areas that are connected, which leads to your complete well-being, that are important for us to tackle and to ensure that there is that balance is maintained. And crucial, why? Because having a balanced well-being, be it your inner or your outer, well-being. It will just helps in general in your overall health, in your general life, in your overall well-being, in so many positive ways when that area is, good maintained. So now we will look into, talk a bit about, what, again, the areas that we can look into when we talk about those aspects in inner and as well as in the outer health. So for example, as I was saying earlier on the mental health, the inner health incorporates the mental, the social and psychological. So in the mental, you can put in your emotions or the emotional state of a person or individual, or psychological state as well. And then the social state, which is also something very important, and you were able to see in some statistics as well that relationship mattered as well, which contributed in majority of the people, having either a good or a bad, well-being, and as well as the connections, so things like relationships or people that you're connected with, be it family, be it friends, people that are close to you. It has shown that it has a quite positive impact, in people. And then in the psychological category, you can put in, your spiritual state, for example, your belief system, that has a very high or strong impact as well to maintain that well-being of, of an individual. So you're through that belief system, the different values, the purpose of life, and every other thing that portrays or comes out of it that you can see, as well as the sense or purpose of life in general. And then looking now at the outer health, it consists also, it's like I was saying earlier on, it's also part of the well-being, because you can't have only the inner part of your well-being and saying you're complete, but you need both aspects. You need the inner as well as the outer part. And the outer part consists, of your physical, your environment, as well as your basic factors that we need generally in life. So looking at the physical would be, for example, activities or exercises, movements, that you need for your physical part of your body to be maintained or to be stable, if I can put it that way. Then your environment is your surrounding. Where do you live? Is your environment safe? Are you living in a secure place? Do you have access to nature and all these things? And this has also a very strong impact on our well-being. And then the last bit, which is the basic needs, which are fundamental needs. For example, you need shelter, for example, those important things, and security, income, educations, some, just to mention few of them. So these incorporate some parts of the outer well-being when we look into that aspect. So now to see what happens now with our body, because as Akos is the doctor, as well as the other people that are hosting as well this program. I know that it's also important to look in the medical aspect and then just see as well what are the areas. So also that's why I was trying to see and try to explain as well what happens in your body when your inner and outer health is not is balanced. What are the benefits when we ensure that there is that balance in the both, and what is happening. So looking now in the aspect of your inner well-being, so it enables you to have a stable and a healthy mental state. And I remember I briefly, Akos mentioned the last time we spoke that you guys had a mental health week as well, where you talked about mental health. So you can see when there is that stability in your inner well-being, that it affects or impacts your mental health very, very, positively, if I can put it that way. It makes or it helps one to have a stable and a healthy mental state. And we can see it nowadays. It is an area that it was, I would say, a bit of a taboo. It was not really talked about so much. And now we can see in our society or in different areas and even in our community, it is becoming more and more an area of awareness where people are talking more about it and making sure that more people are getting aware of it, you know. And then also it strengthens your immune system. Because when you ensure that your inner well-being is maintained or it is stable, you know, and as I was talking earlier on about that particular graph in that statistic that was made, you know, with some of the diseases that were found, because we know our immune system is there, you know, a stable or healthy immune system is there to fight any outer parts, or I would say foreign bodies that tries to invade in your body. And maintaining now your inner health will ensure that your immune system is strengthened, you know, so that it functions as it's supposed to function. Because when that imbalance is there, again, people are more prone to diseases, people are more prone to or susceptible to so many different things which can affect your overall health as well. And then also when you see an improvement in your inner well-being, it also decreases your stress response. So we can see so many things, you know, can lead to stress, and stress itself can lead to so many diseases. It can lead, you know, especially in the area that I'm working in, sometimes you have patients and, you know, they have tried so many different things and they don't know the sources, and you have done examinations, you have done different assessments, you have taken their bloods, you have assessed them on different areas, and, you know, and I would say maybe 6 out of 10, you know, you have still patients where you can trace it back to stress. And when that area is maintained, usually you can see even in that area a positive improvement. You can see that, you know, people are less stressed, and through that them being less stressed, you can see them being less prone to diseases. Because why? It links back to that other point that I was mentioning, that the immune system is through that as well strengthened. And then now looking at the outer well-being, you know, when you look in that aspect, you know, what happens again in your body as well when you look at the external factors as well, in also just your physical body itself. And one of the positive things that you can see when you have that balance, when that balance is intact, it reduces things like, for example, majority of the people, when there's imbalance, and I can talk for myself, personal experience as well, that, you know, there was a point that I was very, very fatigued, you know, so every little things that you were doing, because there was that imbalance in there, you constantly were tired, because some parts of your bodies as well, there was not that stability or maintenance, that you felt tired, and there was this constant increase of fatigue, and as well as you know, areas like where you are also prone to injuries, because again, as I was saying, that both they're interlinked together. So if, you know, the inside and some of those parts are not maintained, you know, people, for example, which are, for example, prone to injuries because maybe the right nutrition has not been taken, you know, physically, and you can see that having impact in that. For example, your bone structure, you know, are being weakened as well, things like that you can see in general. And then just as well as the strength level, it reduces overall with, you know, with increased time, if that is not well treated or balanced accordingly. So you can see overall, when you look now in that aspect, having both of those sides maintained, that, you know, it can just bleed to so much and avoid so many things that you can, you know, just avoid for yourself in general. And then now looking as well, and how can we also ensure that we maintain, you know, the both, and make sure that these two aspects are maintained or they're well balanced. Because I know we're living in a society, you know, and I believe especially in someone like our courses, area where you're constantly under stress, under pressure. And I believe every one of us in our own, areas where we work, for example, there is a certain pressure that is always there for you to maybe meet goals, for you to meet certain targets, for you to perform, for you to, reach certain things. But overall, there are some things that we can put and implement in our own lives to make sure both of these areas are well maintained. So I'm just gonna there are so many points that you can look into, and I just picked up a few of them that we can just implement in our own lives, and then see that in these areas it could help us to make sure that there is a balance and our vitality is maintained. So the first thing is, don't neglect yourself. You're most effective at your best. So don't neglect yourself, because you're most effective at your best. Because majority of the time, be it in your job, or be it as in a role as a spouse, a mother, or a parent, there's just so much you want to give. There's so much that we want to give out. There are responsibilities that we have. There are targets we need to meet, and all these things. And majority of the time we forget ourselves in the whole process. We forget ourselves with that whole responsibility meeting of targets, that we do not have so much or so enough time to make sure that we are well. Because in order for us to perform or to show the best results in all these different areas, responsibilities, and every other areas that we are being in a specific position, we can only show our best if we also are at our best. And how can we maintain that or ensure this is happening is if we do not neglect ourselves. That means maybe sometimes just to take a step, make a pause and just think of yourself and ensure that you are well yourself, be it in your mental state, in your, health-wise, mentally, physically, that you're okay. And it is okay also not to be okay, not to be always in that place that to think that I'm superwoman or I'm superman, and sometimes it's just right, for us to take a break and just to pause and to reflect, so that we can, refreshen ourselves, and then just look in those areas where we are struggling. And sometimes it is just that what is needed and required, and then to put ourselves in a place where we can be refilled with a new energy, so that we can continue and keep going. And sometimes, and this is the mistake that we constantly do, we we keep going without taking any breaks. And then this is where you see those different areas, and you have issues, then this comes up, then this one, all of a sudden there are diseases, things that were not even there, but it's because we do not take a break in between, but we constantly keep going and just do. And another aspect as well that we can work on is our nutrition. Always, one thing I've learned personally, a balanced diet is key and goes a very, very long way. I know in our culture, we have all these beautiful, amazing dishes, with, I know we have our okra soup, our fufu and everything, but it's just making sure that we have a balanced diet as well, because diet makes such a big and huge impact. And I remember my mom and my mother, as she was getting older, and she was there was a point where I could see that she changed a lot of things in her diet, and then we had a conversation, and she was just saying that she just realized that she became more health conscious, and in the African community, I don't know if you guys experience that when you're, especially in the health field, they always use you like, not use you, but you are a reference point. They get advices from you, and how do you think? You're the nurse, you're the doctor, give me some advices as well. But I could just see that that she realized how important nutrition is and how important that balanced diet is. And I saw her, changing and switching off, maybe eating and reducing certain amount, be it carbs, certain oils, just to make sure that she is for the long term still healthy, because diet again, it doesn't only nurture your body itself for you to be strengthened, for you to grow, but it also still have a certain impact in other areas, and it could have also an impact in your mental health, for example. That's why I believe it is an area that is not that difficult, but that is also possible for us to work on, and we will see as well results and positive impacts in it. And then, as I was saying earlier on, implement breaks in your routines. Sometimes, you can take day off, a week off. It can be breaks that could be weekly breaks, monthly breaks, quarterly, or even annually. And sometimes we are so busy in our overall schedules that we also forget, that this is important and is part of our well-being as well. And then also implement physical activities in your plan. And, not everyone is a sprinter, not everyone is, athlete, not everyone will be every time or 24/7 in the gym. But things like just walking, it makes a huge impact and a huge difference. It doesn't mean that you have to run the marathon, no, it's just making sure that we implement physical activities in our daily plans as well, and that will help as well in our well-being. And another point is pamper or treat yourself now and then. Sometimes it's just good for you to do something that is good, that does good to your soul, that does good to your something good into your mind, in your spirit, something that I don't know, maybe I need a little spa treatment in there. It doesn't have to be spa for everybody, but I believe in a way everyone can find a place and then pamper him or herself, which I believe will also help us in our maintaining our well-being. And then also one other aspect, know your capacities and limits. Do not take too much upon yourself, because it will have, again, impact on both areas. Learn to say no when necessary. Sometimes we tend to say yes, be it to please others, be it to meet targets or whatever it is. But sometimes saying no doesn't necessarily mean it is something bad, but it is also just for your own good. And also try and get enough sleep. And I can, only point back to myself on that area. It's an area that I constantly have to remind myself, with different activities. For example, I'm active, in church as well. I have other things to do apart from, my professional work. But then it is important that we just make sure that we have enough sleep. It is so important, when you are, for example, under the weather, when you're not well, and sleep does so much. It has such a huge impact in your treatment, in your getting better. So let us ensure as well that we can implement that one as well in our plannings, and ensure that we sleep enough. And then, overall, my last point is just to make sure that we do not say that this is a specific ethnicity group, this doesn't concern me. But, I believe that in different nowadays, where we are so many topics that we were neglecting before, especially looking, be it, and I can see it even in my own family or people around me, we were neglecting, but we can see that we are not also completely exempted from it. So I think every form of awareness that we get, let us take it seriously, and let us implement it in our own lives, in our own journey, in our daily lives. And I believe it will show or bring different impact in our own lives. So I'm just going to end it there. I don't know if I passed the time mark as well. So this was just to give us a little bit about exploring, the balance of our inner and outer vitality. And in other words, our well-being, because, at the end of the day, you have to work, or we all have to make sure that we put a little bit work in ourselves in order to maintain the both, because for the long term we will need that both areas are well maintained. And yes, there are days, moments and times where not everything is maintained 100%, but I believe the more aware we are of certain areas that we can bring a change or an impact, we can bring a change, and we will see as well a change in that. And I believe that's just something that I believe it is important, and exploring it, making us think about it, will be something that we can see and having a positive impact in our own lives. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Salange. And for those of you who came in a little bit later or in the middle of her presentation, she just talked us through exploring the balance of inner and outer vitality. And there will be an opportunity to explore this topic a little bit more in the Q&A session, in the Q&A session. But also you can ask any health topic, because we've got Dr. Akos here as well, who can also help ask with any sort of health questions that you have. So please do stay tuned. We'll be back after the short break, commercial break.
So physical money and pretty me do work just from me send jam in a minute in Sabakandria and then one Taptap Send.
Yeah, ebusiafo bidin di na nakoma pachirewa 1. They recommended Taptap Send amamo. And that's how for aba. O send ko fa baby a. Na ye basa. Omo rating so ye. Omo ye A1. Nti obia load do Taptap Send. Na on say sika for Taptap.
Yɛkɔ hu de wɔkyerɛ amansan yɛkɔ hu de wɔkyerɛ Ghana for say yɛwɔ akwantu ne di sika kɔfie nie me yɛn fɛnfa baabi a yɛbɛnu yɛn ho tap ɛdɛmu tuwa Taptap Send in this street
The tap de no ana ɛkɔ.
Taptap and one na
Piao.
Thank you, madam. As discussed, we are here.
Yes. Ghana National Identification Authority. We are here to start a pilot for Ghana cards.
Yes.
London Mission.
Yes.
So what are the equipment?
They are downstairs.
Okay, so go downstairs and look at the equipment.
Okay. Thank you.
Look at the height.
Yes. I see the height. How are you?
Thank you. Hello.
I'm Wisdom.
I'm Christopher.
Okay. Nice to meet you.
So this.
Yes. So we have one of the machines here and the printers that I'll be using to do the instant issuance and everything. So it's not like you register, you ask you to come for the cards later.
Okay.
Once you register, you issue the cards. The cards instantly. So before they will do it, they need to go the wrong way to do the application. When they will be interviewed on the payments online. And then book appointment on the date that they want to come do the biometrics. So once they do the biometrics, they can issue the cards instantly for them.
I said earlier, the National Identification Authority boss is here. These are equipment for the Ghana cards. It's a pilot program, and so we'll start. And once we start, we'll add it to our mobile passport program. And when we come, you can apply for Ghana card, you can apply for your passport, and then we will take your biometrics and print. So the pilot will be on Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
Yes, we'll send out a link to a few people, and then from next week, the Ghana mission will be doing it here in London. But the National Identification Authority people will go out to Ghana. They are coming to do this for us for Ghana cards. Thank you very much.
I think after that, even the pilot will do more stakeholders engagement.
Okay.
And we'll have a bigger team that will come and do the official launch. But that's what the pilot will.
I'm very happy about it because I remember that I came to your office before I reported and we discussed. So promise made, promise delivered.
I'm sure with this, I'm sure other ambassadors will call you that they also want.
Yes, I will be happy if we all do it for the resetting of James' agenda.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm very grateful.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the OT Health Talk Show. So, just earlier, Miss Solange just spoke to us or talked us through exploring the balance of inner and outer vitality, and this is now the Q&A session, and we have an opportunity to explore this further with questions from yourselves. So, without further ado, I've got a few questions here that I will start. Dr. Akos, do you have a few you probably want to start with? Or should I start with mine?
As you can see, I'm struggling with my outer vitality right now.
Oh, fortunately, Dr. Akos has been hit bad with the flu. In fact, mine is brewing. I can already feel it, but it's not yet as bad as Dr. Akos. So yeah.
My question is about outer vitality. There's actually somebody who sent it to me. He says, how can I improve my outer vitality, or how can I foster outer vitality? Because I guess you talked about how the inner and the outer go hand in hand, and I guess the inner was a bit more about the mental, the emotional. But for me, I guess what I understood for the outer was more of the physical side, isn't it? Yeah. So I was actually thinking as you were talking, I was like, all is well. I guess you can really have a good routine for your inner vitality and your mental well-being. But what if you've actually been diagnosed with a condition that you can't help? So something like high blood pressure, like a long-term condition, diabetes, or you've had a stroke, and obviously you have lasting complications with that. And so you're always going to have this condition with you, which means you're never going to be sort of normal or back to your reset factory setting. So having a long-term condition, how can you then balance your inner with your outer vitality?
Yeah. So I'll say if there's any disability personally, or let's say a condition, there are always some resources that you could use. For example, let's say in the outer, you were saying, right? The outer, for example, let's say in the physicals, you can have things that we mentioned where, for example, physical activities that you can do. So obviously, you can you could do some exercises, for example, that does not, for example, require you to have certain movements. Physiotherapy, for example, could be some things that you could use as well in order to help that particular area to be maintained as well. And I think as well, one of the outer as well, especially mentioning that aspect which you were talking about in terms of the stroke, for example, one important thing like your surroundings, for example, to ensure that you have the people, that you get support in that area, that your surrounding is safe, for example, that it is secure, and being, for example, in that state, that you will need external support or additional help in order for that to be maintained. So on your own, I would say that you would struggle. So having a second person helping you in those areas, for example, would be important. And having worked as well, let's say nursing homes and things like that, I just realized how important it is that people in that state, they do rely a lot on support and assistance from another person to maintain, for example, safety, and exercises are maintained and stuff like that. And then just to make sure that they are surrounded as well by the right people, that they can help them in that area.
You're on mute, Dr. Akos. Thank you very much. You know what? I had this cheeky question that I wanted to ask for myself before I go on to ask the next question. But you mentioned something about, I think one of the things that fostered or helped, I think it was outer, I can't even remember vitality words. You said natural access to natural, did you say, what did you put it? Like if you had natural environment or natural something, I've forgotten how you mentioned what you mentioned, and I thought, when I hear that phrase, do you mean stuff like trees and You said nature, access to nature. Yeah, that's the word. Green
Exactly.
trees and
Yeah.
things like that. So what if you don't like those things?
Or if you're allergic, you've got like
Or you're
a
allergic to it? Yeah,
hay
exactly.
fever.
No, what I meant by that, no, it's a good question. Thank you for asking that. What I meant by that is because, nowadays in the society we're living in, because everything is digital, so people tend to be just in that full screen. Everything is, be it digital, the screen and everything. However, if you don't, for example, like nature, like you were saying, it's not necessary that you have to be run in the forest or something, but just being outside itself, having fresh air, for example, and then just taking a break for someone that is just sitting in front of the screen, which is also not healthy in general for your overall health. So it that means just taking a break in between. Someone, for example, that is constantly on the screen, just go outside, or even go and socialize outside with friends or do other things. It doesn't have to be necessarily running in the forest or exploring nature, hiking or something, but just being outside. That's what I meant in general, to have
Very-
that balance.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying for those of us who
I was
don't.
gonna say, even like I always say, like I like walks by the River Thames. There's not necessarily like a lot of trees there, and I know that it's bang in the middle of London, so there can be pollution and stuff. But if you get a nice waterside and just look at watching the water makes me happy.
Mm,
So that's yeah. So you can, if you're allergic to one thing, you can always find another.
another. Yep. Thank you. And now to the actual question, which fits really well with what Dr. Takos was saying. So the question is, how can you tell that my inner and outer vitality are out of balance? So I believe you mentioned that for you, fatigue was like a number one sort of way for you to see that. So are there other symptoms and signs, and what will they be?
Yeah. So, for example, stress, we see that in a lot of people, stress, anxiety. One of the things that I realized as well when I was doing some of the research, a lot of people tend to be anxious. And there was a study that was made, and they realized, obviously, people say it could be as well related to COVID as well. But there's this anxiety as well that happens. And then obviously, sometimes all of a sudden developing certain diseases. One thing that I had, because of a certain high level of stress, I had, how you call it? It was not an allergic reaction, but I had a reaction over my whole body because it was so intense. And I went to the doctors at some point, and then I thought, something was wrong with me. But then after doing all the tests, and they realized even the allergy tests were all positive, and he just said to me, I think you're just too stressed. That imbalance of these things. And what happened is, because of the level of stress that you reached, your body started to have this autoimmune reaction against itself, because it was trying to tell you in different ways for you to stop, to have that balance. However, you continued, and these are one of the reactions that now your body is trying to tell you to stop. And I was shocked because after that, I literally got a sick leave for 4 weeks. And after that, everything was fine. I had a rush. Yeah, that's what I was saying. A rush all over my body, and it really eased. And then I realized, back then, when that happened, that it is so important to have that balance in place. So you see it physically, you see it mentally, you see it, sometimes people are moody, people have impacts on also relationships as well. You are the environment plays a big role as well, the people that surrounds you, things like that. It's not only on one area. You can see it, like I was giving the example, in your body physically, but it can be your mental state. People being depressed, for example, things like that can also be an indication that there is an imbalance in that.
That's such a good point, because I have a friend who's currently going through something similar. She's she suddenly had like a autoimmune reaction, having loads of like skin changes and things, and she's been like under every test in the world. Like she's done autoimmune testing, she's done scans and stuff, and they've just found nothing wrong with her. But we know that this was all triggered by a stressful like work and home situation. So I mean, I guess it's difficult because for her, she can't really remove herself from the situation. So she's still under that stress, which means she's still undergo, unlike you, where she could obviously, and I always say working for the NHS, it's got some perks, because you do get this like really nice like sick leaves and stuff. But she works for one of these big four companies, these accounting firms. And I don't know if like they're just, it seems like they're quite a bit of a nightmare to work with. So she's not able to get the time off at work, but then she's also got a home situation that's not improving. So in a situation like that, I mean, how best would you advise her to try her best to minimize her stress if she could even, but what could she do to help with her circumstances?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an expert in everything. I always just try to see as well my personal experience and as well as what I can see has helped other people. I always say, when you have tried different things, it hasn't worked. Look as well and reflect and see what are the things that makes you happy, what are the things that you can find that yourself when you do this particular thing, it brings that certain joy, it brings that certain, it eases you in a certain way. For example, for people it could be maybe your belief, your faith, for example, going back, one thing that I find comfort in and which helps me as well to balance and a lot of time is my belief. So I read, for example, the Bible, I listen to worship, and that calms me and eases me down, and most of the time as a believer, God speaks to you, or you read a verse and all of a sudden you feel like where you were there, it's just everything is just coming down. I would say in that moment, just to find something that she knows, if she reflects and remember that something that just brings a certain, even a bit of joy, a bit of happiness, a bit of ease, that will be, I would say, a stepping stone, a beginning to help. Obviously, it may not help instantly, it may not completely remove everything around, but I feel like when you are in that place where you are kind of settled and at peace, it just opens other, or gives you other ideas and brings in other things that you can implement that could help as well, because every one of us in here, we are all different. Not the same method works with everyone. People have to just sometimes just see what works best for me, and once you discover that, continue and make sure that you put that consistency in there, and I believe by that you will see little by little a change as well.
Brilliant, guys. Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you. I see Auntie Emma said mindfulness, but that stuff makes me sleep. But praise and worship's good.
Mindfulness, I was just about to ask a question based on that, because we've talked about the physical stuff, the outer beauty, so the inner beauty, which you guys have touched on, which is do things that you like. Any other ones? So mindfulness is a good one.
Yoga. Oh, I've heard bad things about yoga, but I mean,
You've heard bad things about yoga.
no, not in that way. I mean, from a Christian perspective. So I think there was
I was gonna say, yoga.
No, there's been a recent backlash about yoga and how it's so it's, I think the yoga started off as a almost like a worship routine for Buddhists. So some of their poses and the things that they do are like, it's almost like worship poses to their gods. And I think there was a Christian influencer on Instagram or TikTok who was saying that it doesn't matter, because there are some churches who have said they're doing like Christian yoga and they've put on like gospel music to the yoga. But the point that she made was that the poses that they do are poses that are basically praising. So like see some of these poses, like these ones and that one, and they're basically poses that are meant to be praising the Buddhist gods. or the Hindu gods. I can't remember which one it was. So she was like, it doesn't matter. So I think from that, it made sense to me, and I was like, okay, I've crossed yoga off my list. So Pilates, maybe.
I was gonna say Pilates and yoga are very similar. Okay, maybe yoga has incorporated some of those poses, but like maybe they're like 10% of yoga, because yoga in itself is like stretches mainly.
Yeah. No, yeah. So I guess if you're just doing the stretches and stuff, but I think for this person, she was just like the yoga in itself is like, how did she put it? She was like, for example, go into you know how the Muslims pray and they do like the whole bowing down thing and standing up, and she was like, that's really good exercise, but it's like go into say, okay, I'm gonna be doing this prayer, but I'm gonna use Christian music. Like it doesn't work because you're still worshiping that. So so you just kind of, and that was the idea behind it. So yeah, so I'm no longer promoting yoga, but
Okay,
Pilates.
fine. Pilates. What else? Mindfulness, Pilates, walking, a bit of nature. What else for our inner
Another Kwame said family devotion, which I
family
guess again,
devotion?
yeah. But you know what
Massage.
what?
Massaging.
Massaging.
Yeah.
Great.
Because listen, sometimes maybe your partner say, oh, you know what, go have like some warm, bath, and then I'll massage you. It can relax it relaxes as well.
Absolutely, that's all right. Who was that? Was that Jonas? Or
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, oh, that's
Travel.
brilliant.
It doesn't have to be like a long trip. It could be like a weekend trip or something.
Yeah.
City breaks.
Away
City breaks
from
are really good.
Yeah,
Weekend
city
breaks.
Shopping for women, and not just window shopping.
Yes,
Husbands,
the
take us
men
shopping.
take your women on shopping and give them your card.
Thank God I don't understand English.
No. Stress less for the woman, stressful for the man. But yeah, no.
I noticed something. Whenever we go to do like big shopping, my wife will be in the front, but by the time we get to the counter, then she's at my back. I was like, where are you? Say, I'm behind you. That's where the payment is.
Oh, you see, it makes you laugh. It's stress. You see, it's a stress-less experience for everybody. Shopping, great.
I'll be pushing the trolley and she's the front, pick this inside, and then my heart will be beeping. Boom, like my blood pressure will be going like, hey, what is this? So sometimes I tell her, look, this one we have already. I believe we have some in the fridge already. We have some. Put it back. And then she put. By the time we get to the checkout, I don't know how she managed to get behind me. And then I'll end up being in the front.
There you go. That's her way of releasing stress. So you gotta
You have to allow her to release the stress.
conscious breathing. I like that. That's a good one.
And today's International Men's Day.
I was gonna come to that in a minute. So, but yeah, I guess Dr. K.
I'll drop my bank details. Don't worry. We know.
We'll come back to that after the Q&A session. We'll do a short sort of way on the we'll give it a short sort of spotlight. That's the word. Okay, we've got a hands up. So we've got two actually, but we'll start with Thelma because I saw your hand up.
Yeah, Thelma's up. Thelma. We are coming. We'll talk about it. Thelma, are you still there, or you're not able to unmute yourself? Abna, can you see if you can try to unmute her?
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going through menopause, and I drink warm water every day, but anytime when I drink warm water, my hot flash goes up high, and also my heart rate. I've gone through a couple of ECGs, but they cannot really find anything. Even I have another appointment for ECG. And I think my stress levels is a bit high. And if I stand for about a couple of minutes, I will start panicking. I do walking. I like exercise. I walk about almost every day for 2 hours. but my stress level is high. What can I do to help with the hot flash?
I guess that's more of a question for me, unless you want to go for it, Solange.
Yes, actually, that's a good. The hot flashes. We had a doctor in our clinic. She is also in between hot flashes. I mean, I haven't tried it. I haven't. I'm not there yet. But she was saying she tried this herbs is tea. I think it's sage tea, and she said it had decreased her hot flashes. Apparently, she's having, I think, once in the evening or so, but she saw a difference in with her hot flashes that it had really decreased and reduced it. I mean, then you were saying so you can't stand for a long period of time and you feel dizzy or so, if I understood right. So maybe it's also with the test that you have done. I don't know if they checked your iron level as well, just to ensure that that one is checked as well, and to see if that iron level is maintained as well, because that could be some indication of that. But in terms of the hot flashes, I heard that it's something that is quite good. So sage tea should help with that one.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
I was just going to add that if you know that your hot flashes are triggered by like warm drinks, then I would say stay away from your triggers as well. So I was actually going to ask you, is it just hot water or is it like any hot drink that you have?
Just hot water.
Yeah, so I would say stay away from the which in that case you can probably have the sage then. So you can replace the hot water with something warm and not necessarily hot water itself, but it can be a tea, it can be a hot chocolate, it can be milk, whatever is suitable for you. But in terms of the anxiety, that can be normal with menopause as well, especially when you're having hot flashes and you're having these palpitations. So I think once the hot flashes have subsided, you'll find the anxiety might improve as well. But the reassuring thing is they've done all the cardiac examinations with the ECG and the heart monitor, and I'm sure they've done the blood test as well. And if that's all come back negative, then there's nothing to worry about. So that's reassuring from that point. And you can be rest assured that it's probably just the menopausal symptoms, which is obviously not easy and it's still difficult to go through. But with menopause, it's a shame, but with almost every women's health topic, it's a bit of a trial and error. So we've got to try this, see if it works. Doesn't work, you change it, try something else. So all the best, Alma, but we're always here if you need any advice.
Okay, thank you, I'm fine.
Thank you, Thelma, and thank you, medical professionals, as always. Auntie Amma, please. Do I need to unmute her, yes?
And I think she's fine. Auntie Emma is a pro at this.
I think I muted it. Sorry.
Dr. Kos, I sent an answer to you. You didn't read that.
Hey, what did I do?
Somebody said that. Very, very important. I mean, thank you so much. Sorry, I logged on late, so your name, please just bear with me. I don't really remember your name. When we talk about stress, I think everyone goes through stress and it's getting
Thank you for
harder.
your advice.
You need to say that when I finish. I think everyone goes through stress, and I think as the day or the years or the days go by, a lot of women, and I would say women, I know men also go through stress, but and I think we see a lot of women because of the, should I say, weight on us, because we've got a home to look after. We are stressed about everything. And one of the things, I've suffered stress for so long, but I thank God that for the past, I think, I'll say about 9 or 10 years now, I've learned to cope with it. And my coping mechanism is praise and worship, because I am a believer. when things happen and you can't actually deal with it, I believe that just worship God, just praise God, just put on a good music and dance like David danced. By the time you do that, I've tried it and it works for me. And again, you will have the stresses everywhere. One of the things I noticed, I have one of my church members. I noticed she was constantly stressed about the husband, the children. So one day I called her. I said, "Hey, I know you are older than me, but be careful. Don't kill yourself.
Mm.
Because if you are not around, they will find. I mean, your husband will find another woman. If you are lucky, 1 year. If you are not lucky, 3 months." So I told her, I sat her down. I said, "Listen, all these health challenges that you are going through, diabetes and all sorts, is due to stress." So I sat her down and I told her, I said, "Listen, leave them for God." I know it's difficult to say, just leave it to God. And then when you pray, just pray that God touch my husband, touch my children. And when I told her I think about 3 months, she came back and then she said, "Thank you, my sister. Because now I don't care." Because we want to be, should I say, we want to mother, we want to be, we want a perfect home, but listen, when you come to my house is not as nice as it used to be, but I don't care. Because, we want to, oh, someone is coming, so let me just do this, we give ourselves too much hassle. Leave what you cannot do, leave it and believe that God will sort it out for. And since I gave her that advice, it's almost 2 years. I can see she's happier.
Mm.
Let's leave them for God. We want to change everyone. Can't change them. Let God do the changing. You just praise and worship God, and it works for me. So I think women. I'm talking to women. I know there's a lot of stress relief because I've been with women, and please just bear with me. Shopping. Some people find shopping stressful. Other people fancy it. And I personally think that, I mean, I heard Jonas saying that, then I don't know how my wife would just stay behind. You see, women, we are very, very intelligent. We know how to just play our games. But what I would say is, if shopping is yours, you need to sit down. Mindfulness. I had mindfulness, and I tell you, it did work for me. So mindfulness, if you haven't actually had the opportunity, you can tell your GPs, Dr. Coase will just, how do you call it? Dr. Coase will be able to prescribe that for you. Yeah, mindfulness is very good. And then, I mean, everyone's this is, some people say drinking, some people say going out with friends. But please, until I had cancer, and when I was working, I was so busy because I was in management. So everything doesn't matter. It's about me achieving figures for the NHS. But when I came to stay, I mean, I was in a lot of stress. Having little children, just juggling job and traveling and other things. But when I came back and I was ill, and I got back and I had to do a lot of reflection, I just said to myself, God, I don't know how I could went through it, but I thank you that you brought this thing to just come and stop me from, being the active woman, superwoman that I always want to be.
Mm.
So I will tell everyone that there are some jobs you go in, you are digging your own grave. There are some positions that we go through. Yes, it's good to have the position, I'm this, I'm a coordinator, I'm this, I'm manager, I'm this. But at the end of the day, you are wasting away. My husband was just listening to what do you call this man? This African president, Obama.
Mm.
I think he just did something on YouTube, and he was saying that the new president, for example,
Trump.
Trump, is very ill. People don't know, and he was talking about his stress level. I think it came out 6 days ago. When my husband was listening to it, I didn't know this is the topic that we were treating, But I listened to a bit and I said, yes. Your age, you're almost 80. You've gone to carry the whole world. Why won't you be stressed? Obama was saying when he came into pregnant, within 6 months, he had gray hair.
It's true. It's actually
And then
true.
he had the marks on his face. You see, we give ourselves, as human beings, we put ourselves into that. And me, I learned it the hard way. And I thank God that I learned it the hard way, because now nothing bothers me. I live as if, there's no tomorrow. And one thing I would say is, when I was busy, my holidays is either going to Ghana and back, which I don't call a holiday because it's so stressful, or taking my kids to Peppa Pig World, going to Disney. That I thought that was holiday until God said, no, this girl, no work for you. And then I started really having a proper holiday. When I say proper, one day I sat down, I told my husband, I said, thank God I didn't die of this cancer. If I had died, I didn't know that there are, yes, there's an
Much
enjoyment.
enjoyment.
Oh, every year, even if I go to Ghana, I'll go to Spain twice. Go and sit down, put up my feet, watch telly, relax. And I noticed that really helped me to calm down. So please, I know I've said a lot, but please, go out, go on holidays.
Auntie Alma, these days, when you come on, I'll put the timer. You don't have more than 2 minutes these days. So,
Jawase Moho. And before I end, because she's made me angry, I need to add some more to it. Lady Abnam Pacho, sorry, why? I wanted to answer the menopause, because I've gone through menopause. It's almost over 9 years ago. Menopause, there are a lot of who has about menopause. You need to just really. I always tell women, pray about this menopause, because if you are not careful, they will make us one bottom. You think you are mad, because the mood swings and other things you go. And we are individual. Everyone is different. I had it the bad. I had it the worst menopause. I had it all. So if you know hot water brings anything, you need to steady yourself. Sit down. When you try this and it doesn't work for you, just try the other. But again, speak to your GPs. Talk to someone about it. There's a lot of support now for women going through menopause. Don't suffer in pain. Speak to, groups. Was it 2 weeks ago? I was on a Zoom, and we talked about menopause, and it was excellent. Oh, it was women, so everyone was just saying the dryness and everything, and people were saying, "Oh, this is what," and we shared, and it was wonderful. So,
Auntie
Dr.
Alma,
Post,
just on that note, I want to just what you've said, because you even said speak to your GPs, but sometimes your GPs might not even know. So, for example, you can get GPs like me who've not been through menopause before, and all we know is like what the book tells you. Well, unfortunately, menopause doesn't work like that, and like you were saying before, for everybody it's different. What I would advise, definitely talk to your GP, but if you feel like what your GP is saying is not helping you, then I think these focus groups that Auntie Emma is talking about is very helpful. So women who've been through menopause advising other women, and then usually known as menopause focus groups. They're incredibly so, because like you say, you have other things like sage tea, which a doctor won't prescribe for you. You have things like peppermint tea, or even like primrose oil, and other things that people use for like vaginal dryness, for different symptoms of menopause. So yeah, definitely talk to women who've been through it, because most GPs haven't actually been through it. So
yes,
yeah, good point.
thank you, Doctor. I think Dr. Coase has spoken, so thank you, everyone.
Oh, cheers. Thank you.
I've spoken more than 2 minutes.
Yes. So now I'll buy your timer. When you start talking, I'll just.
As always, Auntie Emma, thank you for sharing your experiences with us here on the show. And thank you so much, Solange, for the topic as well. But before we let you go, any sort of last words of
Oh, before you say that, there was a comment that somebody put in saying, I found out drinking hot water dehydrates me. So a dilution of hot and warm water. I guess Okay. I'm not sure in terms of what you mean by it dehydrates you, but does it just make you feel dry? Because I mean, drinking the hot water itself will not dehydrate you clinically, but it might make your mouth feel dry, or it might make you feel like you're dehydrated. So I guess it's what works best for you. But definitely drinking the hot water is still going to provide your body with water, so it wouldn't actually, like, clinically you wouldn't be dehydrated, but I guess it's the symptoms that you're feeling that you're treating there. So that's another good idea for Thelma. Like, if again, maybe try not drinking, I mean, try play with the temperatures that you're working with. So if you're doing, 70% warm water, or like my mom drinks like 100% warm water, but if you're doing some, maybe try to dilute it, see if you're doing 50-50 or 30-70, see what works for you as well. So thanks for that advice, Janet.
Yeah. Thank you.
Can I just say something quickly about hot water
2
and
minutes.
menopause?
2 minutes.
It's even 1 minute. When you talk about menopause, I mean, when you are going through menopause, I think hot water is the last thing you want to, because
Yeah.
you feel hot, all the hot flashes and other things. You sweat a lot. So I would just say, if it works for you, that's it. But no. When
If
you are
it
going
doesn't,
through
yeah,
menopause,
stay away.
yeah, stay away from hot water. You can take warm water. That's fine, but don't really, because I mean, during the winter, my windows are open. It was just last year which I had to close my windows, and then this year that I felt the cold. I never felt cold. Even in winter, my windows were open. I can go out without, because I was just constantly hot. And as I said, everyone is different. So please try and then get some of the focus groups and then join and then speak to other women who are going through. If I hear any focus group, I will just come on, and then, or I would let
Thank you, Auntie Emma.
Dr.
Okay.
Kos and Lady Abner, I'll make them aware, and then maybe we can join. But again, doctor and lady, why don't you get someone, and then let's talk about menopause on this platform, please.
Don't worry, Dr. Kojo will
This
come
is
and do
always
it
our
first.
command, and we'll put that
Thank
in
you.
our list of topics
Thank you.
listed, and
All
we'll
right.
make it happen for you. So that's no problem. Thank you again, Dr. Amahan. Why not?
Hey, Bipacho.
There's another. Janet is also suggesting positive.
Abna, Solange is a mother, and so I think she needs to go get
Oh
to her
yes,
kids.
yes.
That's
Sorry.
the-
No,
No,
I'm really
honestly,
fixing my
we
That's why. No.
thank you so much, Solange. I was going to read the comment in the session, but let me give you an opportunity to just sort of give us a closing statement, your sort of awareness, whatever you encouragement, word of encouragement.
Yes, first of all, thank you so much, Akos, for having me. Thank you, Abena, for having me, and also for all the contribution. Even I learned as well a little bit from the women, the mothers that shared as well their insight. And just overall, just to summarize, one important thing that stands out for me is really don't neglect yourself, which was, I believe, with everything we were saying here, I feel like it kept on coming up and over and over. You are most effective at your best. So before we do any other thing and pursue anything, always let us ensure, despite of the challenges and difficulties sometimes we may face, but let us ensure that we also prioritize in some way ourselves, because we can't help others if we ourselves are not well. We can't do certain things if we ourselves are not 100%. So let us just ensure that we keep that at the back of our minds wherever we go or wherever we find ourselves. It doesn't matter, be it a mother, be it a worker, a doctor, or whatever, wherever you find yourself. But let us ensure in all these things that we do not neglect ourselves, because it's just gonna help us for our long term. So thank you again for having me. It was a pleasure, and yeah.
Thank you so much for honoring the invite and coming to talk to us about quite a very, very important topic. And Dr. Akos, anything else you'd like to say before I give my closing statement? Oh, I think we've lost Dr. Akos. Okay, fine.
No, thank you. I'm all right.
As you've heard here, I think
I'm here.
I couldn't put it any better for all your contributions and everything. Vitality is not about transformation overnight, and of course misconceptions like it has to be perfect, it has to be expensive, and it has to be aesthetic or time consuming. It's just not true. Vitality is personal, and often starts very quietly. So it's about listening to your body, nurturing your inner world, and taking compassionate steps towards balance, which is also in line with the comment inside with the comment Janet has given. So yeah, just listening to the little things that your body is telling you and doing the best for yourself. So that's it. We've come to the end of the show. And Miss Solange, please, if you need to leave, please, that's fine. But before I let you guys go, I have a few announcements that I need to make. So
International Men's Day.
that was gonna be the last thing on the list. But before that,
Okay, no.
before that, tomorrow, as you know, we've got a time with Taptap Send, and today I am specifically announcing this one because it's very important. So we have got topic for tomorrow is the financial protection policies with Gilbert Asari Buedu from Wealth Max Financial Advisors. In this current economic climate, you don't want to miss anything that talks about finances. You really want to be on top of your finances. So I'm urging you all to please make time for a time with Taptap Send tomorrow. Same time, same link. And then on Friday, ask the lawyer. You know, immigration is changing. In fact, every day I turn on the news, there's something new happening next year about our immigration. So again, you want to be on top of your immigration policies and whatnot. And now on to a very important topic. International Men's if anything, International Men's Day. And first of all, apologies to the men for not even recognizing or realizing that it was International Men's Day today. So we here at
I saw it on Tap status, but we were gonna do it at the end.
Oh, okay. Well,
because Tap has been going on about it the whole day. That's why I decided to ignore him. I did not even wish him because I said
well,
wishing
that's
himself.
good.
So
That's good. So you see, we didn't forget you. So just to say, today on International Men's Day, we honor the strength, vulnerability, and resilience of men everywhere. This day is not just a celebration, it's a reminder to prioritize your health. For all of us to prioritize men's health, both physical and mental. Too often, men suffer in silence, pushing through pain, stress, and health outcomes without seeking help. So, we want to change that. Let's break the stigma, encourage open conversations, and remind every man listening today. So, I'm reminding you all today take care of your health. It's not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of strength. And whether it's booking that checkup, speaking to somebody about your mental health, or simply just choosing healthier habits, it all matters. So, to all the fathers, the sons, the brothers, friends, your health is important, your voice is important, and today we stand with you. So, happy International Men's Day.
International Men's Day. And thank you, Patrick, for wishing me a happy International Men's Day to you. And to sort of commemorate that and celebrate that further. And obviously, we know that November is like sort of men's health month. So next week will be our last session in November. So we're gonna try and invite our men to come on. We know we've already got Dr. Kojo coming to talk to us about men's emotional well-being. So next week we're going to have a big finale and celebration of men as well. So please, all the women here, make sure to bring your husbands, your boyfriends, your side boos, your side boos, bring them all. And then we'll celebrate them all together. You don't have to tell them that, just say this was my friend, that was my cousin, and that's fine. But we look forward to seeing you all next week. All right, thank you.
Thank you, everyone, and have a good night.
Oh, because for the men.
Sorry?
You said I'll talk on behalf of the men.
Is that Jonah?
We should sing a song for the men.
Yeah, this till don't thank us. Thank our bank account.
Oh yes. I was supposed to say, all the men, drop your tap send, and then a woman in the audience will bless you.
Oh, I'll send my bank details. Tell my bank details. I'll send it so that they thank me.
Okay, no problem. Have a good night.
Okay.